Good evening, everyone. You're watching the Just Keep Up podcast, where we're one step ahead. I'm Kurt Johnson. This is Pete Zindros. We're excited to be back to you guys here on this Friday. We have a great show planned for you tonight. We have a lot to talk about, lots to get into. Big show. No featured story tonight, guys. As you guys know, today is Prediction Friday. So we're going to be giving our predictions for the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. We have four crucial games here. We have Chiefs, Texans, Lions, Commanders, Eagles, Rams, and then the Bills and the Ravens. So we're going to be giving our predictions for that. Me and Pete, we both were virtually flawless in our first predictions week of the playoffs. So hopefully we can continue to get these right here. But yeah, that's what we're gonna go over today, guys. That's what we're gonna talk about. It's gonna be a big show. Before we get into it, I'm gonna remind you to smash the follow button on Rumble, guys, to get a push notification every time we post. Guys, it's gonna be a great show right after this. We're gonna go over to Rumble and we're gonna talk about two females that have made some questionable decisions, to say the least. So if you guys want to hear our opinions, go check us out, guys, rumble.com. Just keep up podcast to get a push notification every time we post. In addition to that, guys, if you're watching us on YouTube, guys, I appreciate it. Like and subscribe. Help us to impact and to reach as many people as possible. And in addition to that, guys, check me out at Kurt's Philosophy on YouTube and Rumble if you're interested in the world's deepest, darkest secrets. But that's all that I have for announcements. Do you have anything before we get into the show, bud?
No.
All right, Pete's a simple man. So we're gonna jump right into it, guys. For the divisional round of the NFL playoffs, we're gonna cover Bills Ravens first. So we're gonna get the lion's share of it now. Bills Ravens, who you got?
I'm going with the Ravens. My final score prediction is 30-23. Yeah, the Bills are the home team, and Josh Allen is Josh Allen, but the Ravens are just a better team. I'm gonna be honest. They're the better team. And honestly, it's now or never for them. Like we were saying this last year, but somehow they got even better because they got Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Lamar's at his peak right now in terms of throwing the football. I think the Ravens are gonna go out there with a lot of energy and probably take it, bro. Because Lamar wants this. There's this narrative around him that he's a choker. He can't get it done in the playoffs. I think he's gonna go in there and get it done this time. I think it'll be a competitive game for sure, though. But the Bills, unfortunately, they're just not as good as the Ravens. Like even though Josh Allen has done all these heroics all year, to get them second seed, bro. How much longer is this gonna last? Like, let's be honest. Like, they're running into a better football team now, so I think they're gonna lose.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I agree. I'm actually going to go with the Ravens as well to beat the Bills. I kind of went back and forth on this one. I really, really, really did. And I'm still going back and forth with it as I'm talking because there's a couple things that go in Buffalo's favor. Okay, the first thing is obviously they're at home, right? The second thing is the narrative is Lamar Jackson has walked away with the MVP. That's the narrative as of the last couple of weeks, seeing how Lamar balled out against Pittsburgh and Allen struggled a little bit, right? He got it done at the end, but he did struggle a little bit, especially earlier on against the Broncos. So the narrative now is Lamar Jackson has the way better numbers, right? Blah, 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 blah. He's walking away with the MVP. So Josh Allen's coming in with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. Another thing is Lamar Jackson, he, sorry, guys. Lamar Jackson, he isn't Tua Tagovailoa bad in the playoffs, but he's also not far from it in cold weather. Okay. Lamar Jackson, let's just say this. The stats are definitely not Lamar Jackson, right? When he plays in cold weather, it's going to be 8 degrees in Buffalo. Okay. So that's another thing that kind of goes towards the Buffalo Bills. Okay. But here's what I will say is I don't even think for this specific game, they need Lamar Jackson to be that Lamar Jackson, right? I think they're going to need him to be that against the Chiefs the following week. which I think we all can just say now what our pick is with that game. But I think this game, what he needs to do is do similar to what he did against the Steelers, run the football, methodically drive down the field, limit Josh Allen's touches, because that's what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to kill the clock, limit Josh Allen's possessions, right? And you can do that, right? And so that's what I think is going to ultimately prevail them to victory. So I have the Ravens winning the game 28-23. That's my final score.
Okay. Yeah, I got 30-23. So we'll see.
Yep. So, yeah, but guys, we're going to move on to our second game, which is actually Chiefs Texans. We're going to cover that now. So, and specifically me, has gotten a lot of backlash with the Texans, but I'm interested to know your take. Who do you have winning this game, Chiefs or Texans?
I got the Chiefs winning 30-13. And the way I kind of got the game going is it's going to be defensive minded, but it's going to come down to which quarterback plays worse. And that is going to be CJ Stroud. I'm expecting the Chiefs to get some picks, maybe some fumbles. They're going to score a lot of points off that. So they're not going to score 30 points because of the GOAT, Patrick Mahomes. They're going to score it because of their defense, like the whole season has been going up to now. So yeah, I got the Chiefs winning 30-13 before they get obliterated by 40 points the following week.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I have the Chiefs winning this game 27-10. Or 20, sorry, it'd be 28-10. Yeah, 28-10 is going to be my final score for that game. Chiefs win, obviously. And I think this game is over by halftime. I think the Chiefs are up at halftime 21-3. And it's just kind of like, the second half is going to be them just milking the clock, being conservative. The Texans will get a late touchdown, but who cares? It's not going to affect anyone. I think the Texans are going to struggle mightily during this game. The Chiefs have a solid defense. The Chiefs also found their identity on offense. They're getting guys healthy back. They they had 2 weeks off, right? A lot of the starters had 2 weeks off, almost 3 weeks off, because if you guys remember, their last game was on Christmas, and that was on a Wednesday. So they played on that Wednesday, and then they haven't played since then, a lot of the starters. So it's almost 3 weeks off, right? So these guys are going to be refreshed, rejuvenated, and I feel like this game is going to feel like it's over at halftime. 21-3 at halftime, 28-10 is going to be your final score.
Okay.
So next game we're going to cover is Lions Commanders. Okay, the Lions are at home versus the Commanders. Who do you have winning this game?
I got the Lions winning 37-23. I think I'm gonna be honest, I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. Like I think the Commanders are probably gonna surprise a lot of people in this game. Jaden Daniels' heroics will keep the game close for most of the game, but I think once the fourth quarter comes in, if the score is like, Lions up 23-20 from there, they're just gonna go on like a hot offensive run and close it up after that. So I'm predicting the final score to be 37-23, but it'll be a close game though. Like I don't think the Commanders are gonna get blown out.
Okay. Yeah, I think the Lions win this game easily. My final score is going to be 42-21. Okay, so I have it kind of being a bit of a blowout. I do. I think this is the Lions' year, and I'm not saying that they're going to win the Super Bowl, but this is certainly the Lions will not be denied. Um, Let me just not say my prediction just yet, but the Lions are going to win this game, okay? Lions are going to win this game 42-14. They're going to win it convincingly. They have David Montgomery coming back. They obviously have Jahmyr Gibbs, who is an absolute stud, right? So they're getting guys healthier every week, coming back from IR, playing on defense, right? And we saw them what they did in their last game against the Vikings to secure that number one seed. We saw what they did to Justin Jefferson and company. We saw what they did to Aaron Jones and company. We saw what they did to Sam Darnold and company. They shut them down. Okay, they shut them down. Now these guys have rest. Now these guys are ready to cook. They have guys coming off of IR ready to play. This game could get ugly for a rookie quarterback. And, I'm not taking away anything from Daniels. He had an incredible rookie year. But there is no doubt in my mind. I pretty much can put my reputation on the line that this game, there's no chance that the Commanders have a winning this game.
Yeah, I mean, I got the Lions winning. I'm pretty sure almost everybody does, but I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. Like I said, I think it'll be like pretty close going into the fourth, and the Lions offense is just gonna get hot from there and they're just gonna seal it away. But I think it'll be a close competitive game though for most of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, and then we're gonna get into our last game, which is Eagles Rams. Eagles are at home. Now the Eagles didn't look the best against the Packers, but they did get it done. Who do you have winning that game?
I got the Eagles. Yeah, I mean, they're at home. They're the better football team. I mean, it makes sense for me uh to make them my pick. So yeah, I got the Eagles. I got the Eagles winning. As far as the score goes, I'll probably say 28-21. Eagles win.
Okay. All right. So obviously there needs to be an upset. And this is the upset. The Rams will beat the Eagles this game. Okay. And I'm going to tell you why. The first thing, there is a thing called energy, there's a thing called vibes. What's the energy like? What's the vibes like in that Philadelphia locker room? I could tell you it's not great. I could tell you it's just as good as a guy ignoring his own football game to read a book. That's how good the vibes are in Philly. Okay. I know the vibes are as good as Jalen Hurts not completing a pass in almost 2.5 quarters, right? I could see that the vibes are the offensive line arguing about whether Saquon Barkley should go for the record or not. And Lane Johnson's like, yeah, we shouldn't go for it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure him and Saquon's relationship are like this after those comments, right? So the vibes in Philly aren't great right now. How's the vibes in Los Angeles for the Rams? Pretty great, right? Like they weren't projected to, really do anything this season. They made the postseason. They were underdogs. They beat the Vikings, who, in my opinion, are better than the Eagles. They beat the Vikings pretty convincingly. And honestly, I have this game going pretty similar to that game. I think the Rams win this game 27-13. And I have the Eagles, first of all, they're running the ball. They'll run it pretty well, but struggling to pass the ball with Jalen Hurts, struggling to get A.J. Brown to get engaged in the game. And, there's only so much winning you can do before this shit like this comes back to bite you. When you have players that don't really want to play like that, or they're upset because they're not getting the targets they want, or you're playing with a bunch of divas, it's only a matter of time before that shit catches up to you, bro. You're not going to win a Super Bowl like that, right? And you're not going to beat a veteran hot quarterback like the Rams and like Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford is 10-2 in his last 12 games, and I see them completely rolling again and beating this Eagles team. Oh,
Yeah,
and then my score, yeah, like I said, it'd be somewhere along the lines of 27-13, something along those 28-13 around. I'll say 27-13 would be my final score. I'll lock that in.
yeah, I don't agree with that. I think the Eagles are gonna win. Like I said, I think they're the better team. They're also at home. Whether you could argue the Vikings are better than the Eagles, I guess, but the Rams also were at home. They also were playing against Sam Darnold, who played in his first ever playoff game. Like, bro, Jalen Hurts has been to a Super Bowl before. Like, these are two completely different quarterbacks. Not to mention that the last game that they won, Matthew Stafford, I think he only had, what was it, maybe like 200 yards. And I mean, yeah, the Vikings defense is better than the Eagles. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, yeah, like they won the game, but it's not like it was like, you know, because the offense was like popping off or anything like that. Like, bro, they were literally locking up a quarterback who didn't play a single playoff game and was literally a backup quarterback entering the season. So
Yeah, but let's be honest, bro. Sam Darnold, he was on. He's gonna get MVP votes. Like he's not gonna get number one MVP votes, but he's gonna be in a lot of people's top five votes for MVP. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing, you say Jalen Hurts isn't Sam Darnold. Yeah, but number one, Sam Darnold had the better year, right? And then two, Sam Darnold has the better weapons offensively, arguably. If you factor in the tight end, it's close. It's close. I'll give them that. It's close, right? You can go with one or the other in terms of weapons. I think Justin Jefferson, there's a gap between him and like AJ Brown. So I would say that the Vikings have the better weapons, but if you want to go with the Eagles, I'm not gonna blame you. I mean, Saquon's a running back, so is that a weapon of the quarterback? Maybe, I guess. But if we're going off a pure wide receiver core, I think that the Vikings have the better weapons. So, for the Rams to beat a team like that, the better team, in my opinion, offensively, the team with better vibes, clearly, right? And with playing a quarterback who played better all year, right? So factoring all of those things in, and the Rams still found a way to win pretty convincingly. I mean, everything you're saying proves that why the Rams should actually win this game, because they won pretty convincingly versus a better team. And on top of that, Matthew Stafford didn't need to play his best game. He threw 19 of 27, 209, and two touchdowns. So what does that tell you? That means he methodically drove them down the field. He did enough to win the game. They ran the ball with Kyron Williams 20 times, right? So that's going to be their key to success, and I don't see that changing.
Yeah, I mean, when you were arguing Hurts and Darnold, I'm not gonna lie. Before Jalen Hurts got injured, you could make the argument that he was having the better season up until the point that he got hurt. Like it was pretty close. Like it wasn't a very big gap. Yeah, I mean, as far as weapons goes, you could maybe give it to the Vikings, I guess, just because Justin Jefferson mogs anyone that the Eagles have. But like I said, bro, the Rams won that game off defense because they had a quarterback that was seeing ghosts out there because, it was his first ever playoff game. Like Jalen Hurts has been to a Super Bowl. And as far as teams goes, yeah, the Vikings might be a little bit better, but it also came down to them losing that game because of Sam Darnold. Like the mistakes Darnold was making is not mistakes that you would expect Jalen Hurts to make on any normal day. Like, yeah,
No,
the
I actually would. And like, let's be honest, before the injury, I just want to throw it out there, guys. He said that Jalen Hurts was playing comparable to Sam Darnold before the injury. That's just not true. Jalen Hurts' numbers before the injury was 2,600 passing yards, 16 touchdowns, five interceptions. That's nothing compared to what Sam Darnold had done in that same time period. I just wanted to clear that up.
Okay, are we gonna forget about the other side of the football, the running side of it? Because I could bring up those numbers right now, bro. Jalen Hurts has like 14 rushing touchdowns, bro. Like literally, you even if you want to discredit it for most of those being touch pushes, he still got those numbers, and you could add in the yards as well. When you factor all of that in, bro, like you could make the argument that Sam Darnold wasn't better than him. Like you could argue it, but regardless, bro, that's just for their season, bro. I mean, that doesn't even really matter. We know Hurts is the better quarterback, regardless. Because if we're going off season, then Patrick Mahomes isn't even top 10 because he won 15 games and he wasn't even a Pro Bowler. Funny, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's close because unfortunately context matters in this situation. And whenever you have, the a guy who rushed for 2,000 yards this year, that's obviously a threat. So you're like, I don't know who I'm supposed to really guard here, right? And so that definitely frees up Jalen Hurts to rush the ball more, not to mention the tush pushes. So, but we don't need to get into the argument with Jalen Hurts here because we have vast disagreements with that. But I do feel like Jalen Hurts will struggle in this game. And I think on Monday, before we do the inauguration show, I think we're going to sit here and you're going to say, yeah, you're right. Jalen Hurts struggled, bro. And I'm going to say, yeah, because he had one good playoff game in his career.
Which
And the
is
rest
false.
is the rest is a bunch of average or bad playoff games, right? So
No, I don't agree that he only had one good playoff game. No, I don't. And either way, this wasn't even Jalen Hurts' best season either. So the Saquon argument is automatically canceled out. This wasn't the best season of his career. So he's played better without Saquon before. So yeah, I mean that pretty much cancels him out.
no, that doesn't cancel out my argument because my argument wasn't Jalen Hurts is terrible. My argument was because he has Saquon Barkley, it's easier to have rushing touchdowns. That's what was my argument for the 14 rushing touchdowns.
Right, but what I'm saying though is when you go look at the numbers, I don't even know if this is the most rushing touchdowns he's ever had in a year because I don't know. Was it, bro? Because every year he's at double digits, especially for like the last 2 years. And overall for the year, this wasn't his best season either. Like he's done more without Saquon before. So it's not like the argument is that Jalen Hurts without Saquon Barkley can't do anything or he's just mediocre. Like it's been proven he's had better seasons. Like hold up. You you could I mean you could go look up the rushing touchdowns. I don't know if this was the most he ever had. Maybe it's close, but he's around double digits every year regardless. I think he had 14 this year if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'll go check him right now. So as far as rushing goes, let's see.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's the second most he had. He had 15 last year, 13 the
13 the
year
year
before.
before,
So it's
bro.
average.
It's
It's
basically
average.
the same even as without Saquon. So yeah. I mean, Saquon isn't really like the difference maker towards that.
Yeah, but then you see when you dig deeper into the numbers, it's like, oh, okay. He has more yards per carry than he has in his career, and the yards per rush is up as well. So, I'm not saying that he's a byproduct of Saquon, but what I'm saying is it definitely makes it a lot easier to run the ball when the team is guessing, hey, is he going to run with Saquon or is Jalen going to rush? And you don't have to be, Einstein to know that, okay, that's what the defense is probably thinking, right? So, but yeah, I mean, my take for that game, again, I just think the Rams are more battle tested than the Eagles, especially the team currently constructed. And I think Sean McVay is a better coach. I think that Matthew Stafford is a better playoff quarterback. And obviously, one has a Super Bowl and one doesn't. And I think that when it comes down to it, the Rams' vibes are better. They're just better. And there's only so much winning you can do when your wide receiver is reading books on the sideline because he has one target all game.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I don't think he's that's gonna happen again though, because I mean, we could normally expect AJ Brown to go off for close to 100 yards. Like the Packers did play tremendous defensively that one game. I mean, the Rams defensively aren't that great. The Packers are. I mean, both teams are pretty much rated like towards like the middle of the pack when it comes to defense, but the Packers overall are the better defense, and they
No, we
prep
had a
well.
top. The
They
Packers
prep
have a
well.
top. The Packers had a top five passing defense. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
exactly, bro. So my fault for saying middle of the pack. They're actually like on the upper half. But yeah, I mean their defense is really good. Like the Rams defense is more like it's okay. Like they're not gonna get shitted on, but they're not really gonna lock anyone down at the same time. Like I said, their defense was locking down last week because they were playing a guy who didn't really know what he was doing. I don't expect the same thing to happen though with a quarterback who's been proven to be better and has also been to a Super Bowl at that before. And then on top of
Yeah.
that, he has Saquon Barkley too.
Yeah,
So,
you can't forget that, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, I want to move on, guys. I want to get to the end of the show. So it was a great show. We went over our predictions for the playoff games. So we'll see. We'll come back on Monday and see if who was right, who had the better predictions. But we went over Chiefs, Texans, Lions, Commanders, Eagles, Rams, and then Bills, Ravens. So it was a great show. Before we get out of here, guys, before we close, I'm just going to remind you to smash the follow button on Rumble to get a push notification every time we post. And guys, actually, we're going to be heading over to Rumble right now to do a honestly, bro, it's going to be the best stream we've done in a while on Rumble. So, guys, go check us there. Go check us out there if you guys want the raw, uncensored, unfiltered versions of us. Go check us out on Rumble right now, guys. Rumble.com. Just keep up podcasts. And, guys, if you're watching here on YouTube, guys, we appreciate it. Like and subscribe. Help us to impact and to reach as many people as possible. And guys, with in addition to that, follow me, guys, on YouTube and Rumble at Kurt's Philosophy if you're interested in the world's deepest, darkest secrets. And other than that, guys, we'll talk to you guys again on Monday with our predictions. Have a great rest of your weekend, guys.